Hi, everybody. Boy, oh boy. Jenny says we're really late today, but we're not. April Fools, we're right on time. Isn't that how it works? I think that's how it works, right? Okay, we
Maybe.
have so much to talk about, everybody. The Paramount-Skydance merger falls through. We have a Star Trek 4 date, finally, finally,
Yay.
finally. Who knows if they'll keep
Finally.
it, but there it is. We have it. And
Oop.
it's actually pretty soon. On the other flip side of that, Star Trek Con is postponed already, so there's bad news there. Good job, everybody. Also,
Good
Melissa
job.
got a whole
What?
because you know that everything's always postponed, and it's just like
That was
already you're
funny.
postponing it already. Also, Melissa's got a whole bunch of April, looks like April Fool's goodies, although it says April
Ooh.
1st. I haven't looked at these, so I don't know what's true and what's not of these guys. Oh, Strange New World's release date. That's not an April Fool's thing. That's a real thing. Uh, I bet. The USS Callister. Wow, we've got all kinds of good stuff. This is great. Oh,
Nice.
and this. There it is. Oh my
Yeah.
God. That is
Oh
not an
yeah.
also not April
Exactly. I was
Fool.
gonna say there's like
This
one
is
very important one.
this is the greatest thing of all time.
Yeah.
A Nog action figure. And remember we
Yeah.
clamored for it. It was gonna happen. Also, thank goodness everybody, John Orchiola is here.
Hello, it is I, your April Fool.
That's pretty clever. That's cute. I like that.
Well.
That's clever.
Um, I have a friend that every year texts me. He says, "This text is not an April Fool's joke." And then he texts me again and says, "April Fools, it was an April Fool's joke." And I look at my phone the same way Melissa's looking like, I don't. So this year, I texted him that.
Well played. Well played.
Yeah. Melissa Longo's here.
Hi there. Hello. Look, Nog. There's Nog right there.
Oh,
A little cutie
Oh,
pie.
oh, mini nog.
our
Mini
favorite.
Nog next to the other mini Nog.
I love
Look how
that.
cute he is.
It's so cute.
Speaking of which, the Matt Boardman is here. The cutest of them all.
Speaking of cute.
Yeah,
Sadly,
squeeze
nothing
those
about me that's
cheeks.
mini.
Squeeze those cheeks.
And Jenny R. Johnson is also here.
Hello.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
And oh, my name is Ryan T. Husk. That's all I have to say. Thank you, Melissa. Wow, look at you guys. This is great. Feel bad that we don't make any money. All that like excitement, and we're just like we just hang out and talk
We're
to
just
people.
happy to be here, man.
That's true.
Exactly.
It's true. John might be
Yeah.
regretting it, but we're
Exactly.
we're happy.
What's
John's
this
like,
about
what
not
the-
making money?
Yeah.
What have I gotten myself
Well,
How about this,
Yeah.
John? When we go to the Universal Studios Fan Fest, Star Trek, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I'll buy you drinks.
Well, all
That's a
right.
thing,
Some
right?
Cardassian
As
Canar, some Romulan ale.
limitless drinks. I will buy you
Limitless
as many,
drinks.
yep, as
Oh
long as you're not
my.
Wow.
driving. Yeah.
I'm gonna
is
mourn
that
it up.
for all of us?
Right?
Not that I'm a drinker, so
Right.
I'm like, oh, I got a milkshake.
Lest you forget
Oh.
today.
All of like just everybody here in this. Yeah, that's fine. Sure. That's fine. Sure. Uh, hello to Bob D, Dave Gregory, who's saying weird things in the live chat. Joel on B. Hello, Chris Thompson, Joshua Reeve, May Borello out in the May area. Chuck A, Rookie of the Year, Redshirt Bob. Hey, we've got an Allison Leach Hyde sighting. Thank goodness for that. Finally. JT Savoy. Your name reminds me of JT Snow. Matt Boardman remembers him. He's a baseball player. VFX Art, Derek Smith. And everybody, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for notifications. And if you're listening in, give us a 5-star rating and a nice review. We'd really appreciate it. And thank you to Joel for the super chat. Really appreciate you. He says, "Look, here's some money." I guess that means it's going to John.
Finally.
Very cool. All right. Well, let's get into this, shall we? This is going to be a lot of fun. Uh, First things first, what do we want to talk about first? The Paramount-Skydance merger falling through that we all kind of expected was going to fall through forever, and now looks like it is.
Jenny's
Or maybe the Star Trek 4 premiere date.
Oh,
Or
let's
actually-
do that one.
Wait, what?
Going on. It's
Like
this thing
which
on-
Star Trek? Wait, Star Trek 4? What?
Like,
I
Wait,
know.
what?
Well, we have news about Star Trek 4. This is what we do on a news show.
Mhm.
Uh, Also, but before we do that, John Orchiola, do you want to talk to us about what you're here for? You have something special to talk about, right?
Yeah, I'm actually here for a couple of reasons.
Hmm.
Oh.
One, Jenny doesn't like Deep Space Nine. And
Good
He's here
callback.
to-
Good callback.
and
Confront
I'm
Jenny
barging my
about
way
it.
in here to confront her about this. I'm kidding.
Hmm.
That's your April Fool's joke. No, I am actually here to talk about a few things because this is, April Fool's aside, a pretty significant, although low-key, week for Star Trek. There's things going on that people should know about. So why don't we start with Strange New Worlds?
Okay.
Since that's behind me here.
Okay. I bet we've got an article on that to pull up. Let's look at
Ooh.
that right now.
That sounds nice.
Oh, also, while I'm pulling this up, everybody, since it is April Fool's Day, we're having a little bit of fun. It's also significant to point out that Giant Freaking Robot, in honor of April Fool's Day, will do an article with factual information.
The one day a year.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So, each their own. Also, since this is episode 180, they're doing a 180 on April Fool's Day.
Ooh, very
And
nice.
everybody in the live
That's
chat-
so fun.
Let us know something you've had a 180 on with Star Trek, something that you hated or didn't like, and then you just did a 180. You're like, you know what? Actually, I really like this, or a character or something like that. Let us know your
I've got one.
180s.
I've got one.
Ooh.
Star Trek 5, which I've done a complete 180 on, which
lot of
I used to
people.
think was terrible, but now I love it. I mean, I still know it's bad in certain ways,
I need to
but I love
rewatch
it.
it.
Yeah.
Mm. Ooh,
I
I
love
like that.
Cybok. I love Kirk, Spock, and McCoy camping. I love so much about
I
it.
like that part. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I like the
I'll
camping.
be a marshmallow.
and beans with the secret ingredient.
There's a lot of 180s to be had in Star Trek with things that we didn't initially like or didn't think we were going to like, and then we turned around on it. So let us know. Star Trek 5
Yeah.
is edgy. That is an edgy one, though.
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right. Star Trek Strange New World. This is from whatculture.com. Star Trek Strange New World Season 3 release date. A Star Trek fan. Wait a minute. What is that? The release date out of Sky Showtime's Facebook account.
Wait, what?
Yep. Okay, so here's the context for this, okay?
Yeah,
and I
please.
actually came about this through Trek Central, which also tweeted something or posted something on Threads, I think. So basically what happened was yesterday, someone commented on Sky Showtime's Facebook page that Strange New World Season 3's release date internationally is going to be August 31st. Now, here's some context. Sky
August
Showtime,
1st, right?
August 31st, which is a Friday.
Oh, I thought. Okay. I
No.
thought it said August 1st.
Nope, August 31st. So, as far as I know, anyway, this is all wrong. But so Sky Showtime is owned by Paramount Global, and they are a streaming service in Europe. So they serve Spain, Croatia, Denmark, Sweden, Norway. That's how they watch Paramount Plus programming over there. So August 31st, if it's a Friday, would mean July 31st for the US, if that would be the release date. But actually, this morning, Sean Ferrick, our friend from Trek Culture, lovely,
Yeah.
lovely man, contacted Sky Showtime himself
Beautiful.
on Blue Sky.
Trek Culture's in the live chat, by the way.
What?
Yes. Yay! Hey, Sean,
Really?
and whoever else.
Go to
Yeah.
So,
bed. It's like 2 a.m. for these poor guys. What are you doing?
It's like I'm just getting started.
Exactly.
Oh, he says, or she or they. I'm assuming it's Sean Ferrick, but we don't know for sure. The comment was 3 weeks old. They have now deleted it, and they have
Mhm.
now said the date was incorrect.
Right,
Classic.
right. So
Classic.
there is no August 31st release date, or maybe there is, and they're trying to keep it secret.
Mhm.
Right. Because how many
like-
times have they
like-
done that, right? Where they say, "Oh, that's not true. It was a mistake,"
Yeah,
and it
something
turns out to
leaked.
be true.
Yeah, something leaked, and they have to
Right.
double back
Mhm.
and
'Cause-
pretend it didn't happen, and then they release it. So, will we find out this week that Strange New Worlds release date? Possible. Why? Because Saturday is First Contact Day, and it might be not. Paramount Plus doesn't necessarily have to release anything on First Contact Day. Traditionally, they don't really do that.
They
But-
don't have to.
They don't have to, but they might take the occasion.
Come on
They might.
already.
Since this release date news is already kind of out there.
Yeah.
Maybe they will release it. Maybe this will kind of force their hand, or maybe it won't. But in any case, the possibility of Strange New Worlds coming out in the fall is something I've been considering for quite some time, simply because
Wow, that's late.
Season 4 is now currently shooting. I believe they just started shooting episode 404, and they've been shooting since February. Now
That's
it takes
an
about
error.
6 months it takes about 6 months to produce the whole season. So February, March, April, May, June, July. They would wrap sometime in mid to late July, which would line up with Comic-Con, because Comic-Con is the last weekend of July, which is when Paramount Plus does their whole Star Trek universe panel, and they cart everybody out and they do a big shebang in Hall H. So by that point, the cast would be free to do press, and they would be free to promote season 3, which is why I think season 3 probably is going to be coming out in the fall. Now, I don't know that. That's just my best guess, just because of availability and logic. And this is Star Trek. We like
Even though
logic.
they said that they would release in the spring.
That was months ago, before anything
Yeah,
was.
but
Mhm.
they haven't
No.
said they've changed their minds.
True.
Well, but you also have to wonder,
But they wouldn't
at the
say they
time
changed
that
their
they
minds.
said that, we also had other Star Trek shows that were going, and now we don't. And
Right.
so there's nothing. It's like, dude, are they like now pushing this back so that there's less time between Strange New Worlds and
Starfleet Academy?
Yeah, Starfleet Academy.
Right.
I mean, we are
Right.
now in spring, so they
Speak for
would need to tell
yourselves.
us. They would need to tell us pretty quickly,
Mhm.
to have any kind of lead time. They're not going to be like it's next week. I mean,
Right.
they might just drop it
60
and
days.
surprise
60
us
days
all.
would be the lead time, typically.
But,
Yeah, but
okay,
but
so then we're
season-
right up against it already then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, but season 1 and 2 was released in May and June.
In an
So
era-
there's still
In an era when there were more shows.
When they had more
Now-
stuff lined up,
Yeah.
like because
Now,
they
Melissa, I'm
had
on your
something in
side
the
here.
fall. Yeah.
I want season 3. I want it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm on your side here.
It's
I'm
been
just thinking logically.
taken so freaking
I
long.
know.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you know what we need? We need that French streaming channel that released Prodigy season
Right?
2 early. We
Yeah.
need them to leak it, right?
Yeah.
I'll go talk to my friends in France, in La France.
Europe
See
knows
what's
what's up.
They do. They're all sleeping right now, so they're not up. But
Some of them.
no,
So
not
So to
Trek culture.
summarize, season 4
Exactly.
it's currently shooting. Season 3 we still don't know. Maybe August, maybe September, who knows? But the cast won't be free to promote season 3 unless they take breaks in the middle of shooting,
Right.
until the end of July, most likely. Logically,
Why couldn't they promote from Canada?
I mean they could.
They
but,
can
they can certainly do that. But I mean,
actually. Yeah.
it
Canada.
it interrupts shooting schedules. It interrupts.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Given that there's San Diego and potentially, depending on when they do decide to drop it, if it's like fall or later fall, there's also New York. So there's opportunities to like make a splash about it as
Yeah.
opposed to putting it out
And
right now.
chance to talk about it at STLV this year.
Yep.
Mhm.
That too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that what we figured out was that shooting of season 3 of Strange New Worlds, or season 4, I mean, ends at the very end of July.
Like
So
July 21st.
I think they'll be shooting
Because of
episodes
that
9 or 10 during Comic-Con. What
Comic-Con's
dates
the
are
last weekend,
Comic-Con?
so it's like July 26, 27.
Oh,
You
well,
know,
then
like,
maybe. That
yeah.
might just sneak. I mean, they
It's pretty
might
tight.
not even
Mhm.
get to breathe. They might just
Yeah.
go
Right.
July
straight
Yeah.
from
24th through
set
July 27th.
in their uniforms.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and the Paramount Plus Star Trek Universe panel is always on the Saturday of Comic-Con, so I
Right.
think it's the 26th.
Interesting.
Yep.
Or maybe they'll just tell us everything in Vegas. They're gonna party in Vegas.
Yeah.
The following week.
But who knows? Maybe they'll drop it in the summer anyway. Who knows?
Well, I
But
figure if they tell you it's going to be released in the spring, they should release it in the spring and not do an April Fool's, because they didn't announce it on April Fool's. They announced it on a different day than April
Right.
Fool's.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's weird that there's no firming up of that date, you know? Like why not?
I
Yeah.
think it's weird that they dropped these posters so far out and now they're like, and also we're not gonna tell you when we're releasing it, like
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
But here's some posters.
I mean, we still have a trailer to look forward to at some
Oh,
point.
for
that they're
sure.
gonna-
Yeah. And
they're
actually
gonna
that's a good
drop, so-
point. Yeah, that too is still hasn't
Yeah,
happened
it's
yet.
all
And that's
staggered. It's
there's
all
yeah.
it's
It just
Seriously, at this point,
feels
give me a tease. I'll
yeah.
have the camera right here on Anson's hair and be
Yeah.
like, hey.
I mean, when did we get that clip? Was that New York last year?
A long
what
time
what
ago.
clip do you
Yeah.
mean?
The
What clip do
Vulcan
you mean?
clip.
Vulcans.
The
The
Vulcan.
Vulcan clip was Comic-Con of last year. That was
Oh my
July.
God. Wow.
Holy
Yeah,
Miss
and
Molly.
then at New York Comic Con, they released the very first few minutes
teaser.
of.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's crazy, actually, that it's been that
Mhm.
long. That's
Right.
bonkers.
And then they have Section
Wow.
31 to kind of distract themselves.
Bonkers.
For
Right.
January.
Yeah.
But Section 31 wasn't long enough to just be a distraction.
It was not.
Right. Let it be known, everybody at
Wasn't.
home, that Melissa wishes there was way more Section 31. She was like, it was too short. I wanted more of it. I wanted it to be
Mhm.
episodic. I wanted that just be episode 1 and have a
Yes.
new one of those every week.
And she wants it in the
Section
spring.
31 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, no, I just want what they said was going to happen
Ooh.
to
That.
happen.
No, but that was a while ago.
That.
And,
No,
No,
like,
but they said it more
Yeah,
than once.
agreed.
It wasn't
Yeah.
They
just
did.
one time.
They
It
did.
was more than one time.
This feels like such a lover's quarrel between fans and Star Trek. It's like, no, you said it. You said it more than but that was
It's
that was a long
true.
time ago, baby. Things change, you know.
This is
There
where
was
we
a
need the
strike.
replay official.
I was going to, but there was a strike. There was this. No, but you said it twice. If you say it twice, that's it.
Yeah.
No
Well,
takesy
it
backsy.
was more than two as well.
She's got you there, Star Trek. You better pay up. So we have a poll in the live chat to see what you guys think about Strange New World season 3 and when that's going to premiere. The options are April or May, June or July, August or September, or October, November, December. That's a good one.
Mhm.
That's a good one.
Personally, I would love it by June. But if it's going to be July, it might as well be August. You know what I mean? Like, it's already like,
Yeah, might as well be next year.
yeah, why not? Who cares? But
I just keep pushing it back and pushing it back, and we're never gonna get Section 30.
2027.
Section 31.
We're- yeah,
We're
we're
never
wishful
gonna
thinking.
get
We're never gonna
Strange
get
New
Section
Worlds
31.
again.
If I had
Tell
to
everybody
make a
like
pred-
Section 31 again.
If I had to make a prediction, I predict that it will premiere I'm thinking either June or July. June because that's the latest they could go while it's still being technically spring. And July because if there was some kind of they were trying to do it within June, but there was some kind of delay, then they're like, July, that's either that or they'll do 5 episodes in June and then 5 more episodes
Oh,
2 or 3
right.
months later.
Ugh.
So that way
The
they'll
whole,
be like, phew, we did
the
it.
whole split season
Mhm.
plan.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
know if they've ever taken the split season plan seriously. That was pitched by some of the fans of dividing it so that we got the original idea of the split season plan was to have Strange New Worlds first 5 episodes premiere in the fall of last year. So that we have the cliffhanger resolved because it's going to be 2 years since those people got kidnapped by the Gorn.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, it's the longest cliffhanger I think in Star Trek. Like I've got to do the math about how long it was between Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 3, that cliffhanger.
Yeah.
But I think this one will be longer. I think this will be the longest wait we've ever had to see a Star Trek cliffhanger resolved.
That you just wrote yourself an article right there, John.
I just realized I did. Yeah.
Totally did.
So I'll do that tomorrow.
That's a really good article idea.
Yeah.
Actually.
Oh man, it makes me miss when we knew in the fall we
Yeah.
were gonna have a new
Yeah.
season of Star
Yeah.
Trek.
Mhm.
Like I love streaming for the fact that sometimes we get all of a season at once and it's available to us whenever we want it. There's no like we can pause it and we're not having a mad dash to the bathroom during commercial breaks and hope you make it back with a snack in time. But
Mhm.
I don't like the uncertainty of knowing or not knowing when we're going to get the next season.
No, it's a terrible business model. It's
Especially
terrible.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
no. Go ahead.
Especially since it's been 2 years.
Uh-huh.
Years, not just months. It's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
years. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you retain anybody's attention with
Right.
that kind of a gap?
Yeah, part of that is not their
It's
fault. Part of that was the
ridiculous.
strikes. But yes,
True.
Still. But come on.
I know. The season has been shot since May of last year. And, I don't know how long it takes to do post-production, but theoretically, they could have dropped these
It's
episodes
done.
at any time.
It's 100%
since
done.
the
They're
year
just
ended.
sitting on it. Yeah.
They're just sitting on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Because
think it is?
they're not producing the next season.
It
So
is
Well,
done.
if it's 100% done, what would be the benefit of delaying it?
Because to stretch out the Star Trek that's available, the new Star Trek that's available, they dropped Section 31 in beginning of February?
January,
yeah.
early.
24th.
So why would they then
That's why I think they should
drop
do
the
half
next
and half.
thing? Well, sure, yeah, absolutely.
Or do like one episode a month.
Yeah, or
Just-
like I don't know, produce 2 shows at anyway.
Well, they are producing 2 shows.
Yeah,
right
but
now,
like actually, like where they both can air at this
Like-
in the same universe.
Well, then there's the advantage, right? Because theoretically, if we wait a little bit longer, we get Strange New Worlds in the fall, we get Starfleet Academy in the winter or spring, and then we get Strange New Worlds again, and then we get Starfleet Academy again, and it's much shorter
Hopefully,
in terms
yeah.
of span.
We get Strange.
Theoretically.
We get Star Trek, Starfleet Academy at the end of this year still? That's what you're saying?
Or
No.
the beginning of next year.
2026 for
Beginning of next year.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2026 for sure, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just no way.
Because
But
I
they
believe it's
still
going to
could
be.
make that work.
It's still because Starfleet Academy and Strange New World Season 4 are kind of like the 60th anniversary of Star Trek celebration seasons.
Yeah.
So we have that. We have that looking, to look forward to in 2026.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They still
But
could
yes.
make it work. I
Sure.
mean, plop
I mean,
it
I want the
down
episodes
in
in
the
my
middle of
inbox
the
right
year,
now.
Yeah.
and then beginning of the year, Starfleet Academy. A little bit later, Strange New Worlds.
Mhm.
It still doesn't mess anything up.
I mean, do you think that there's
Fools.
do you think there's some strategizing going on where they're like, "Oh, you know what? If we just kind of keep pushing this and keep making it a question, are the Star Trek people who have Paramount Plus, are they just going to
Right.
like hang on to their, they're not necessarily going to drop it because they might just have to pick it right back up again. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
which is kind of, You
Yeah,
know,
but it's so easy to drop a streaming service for
oh,
however
it is.
long
It
and
is.
then
Yeah.
pick it back
Yeah.
up
It
immediately. I
is.
mean,
But it's
I
like
don't
the
see the
average
benefit of that.
lazy person, is like, "Oh no, well, I would drop it, but I know this is coming soon." So, but if they're like it's not coming until November,
Right.
then you're going to be
Mhm.
like, "All right, well, I'm definitely not paying for this for 4 more months."
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I mean, that's me being cynical about it. Like, "Oh my God, I'm being
Yeah,
cynical."
I feel like we are being cynical today. I was
I
just going to say,
know.
live chat, live chat, it's time for you to ground us and tell us, you guys, enough bashing my favorite franchise. Star Trek is doing what they think is best for us. They think that it's best for us to wait. We need to wait a little while longer. They're not doing this for a business model. They're doing it for us because they love us.
No,
So let
she's
us,
no, they're not. They're not. It's
This is
not.
not a Heinz 57 commercial.
I call
uh,
bullshit.
Dangerous Dax says, it's April 2nd here.
Ah,
Okay, how
yes.
about this? Everybody in the live chat, let us know. Are we being too harsh and cynical on Star Trek
Oh,
or
it's not
are
Star Trek.
Paramount? I don't know.
Okay,
Let us know
yeah,
your
that's fair.
feelings on it.
Hmm.
Because sometimes I get a little complainy, like, you better release my favorite show. But then other times I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't know what the hell's going on back there. And there's nothing I hate more. Actually, I hate a lot of things more, but there's nothing I hate more than people that complain about how somebody's doing a job that they don't understand at all. Even as simply as like being a food server and they're like, oh, well, you know what they
Hmm.
should do. And you're
Oh
like, you
yeah.
don't even know. I would love to do that for you, but I
Yeah.
can't. Or,
Yeah.
they or the armchair quarterbacks in sports. You know what they should do? They should just give it to this guy every
Yeah.
time. They don't know what they're talking about.
That
Anyway,
is true. That is
When I
very
play my
true.
game, I do this play and they score every single time.
yeah.
Hmm.
Why?
No, but it's not telling people how to do their job. It's just, I mean, we've been patient for a very long time and reasonably patient for a very long time. And I
Yeah.
don't see why I don't see anything wrong with saying, hey, come
Yeah.
on,
Quit breadcrumbing us.
quit dragging
Right.
your
Just
feet.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and that's what I think is the most frustrating thing about it. It's
Yeah.
just the lack of information. Right. Just
Exactly.
say, hey guys, we have every intention, but it's not happening this year, or it's not going to
Hmm.
happen for a while. Or we ran
Say
into some
something.
issues,
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
there's just something, because guess what? Providing that information doesn't cost you anything, and it earns you a lot of capital with your
Yup.
fans.
So we've got the answers to our poll question. When will season
Ooh.
3 premiere? A whopping 0% said April or May. Whoa,
Nice.
dude. Whoa. 13% said October, November, December, basically last quarter.
Hmm.
29% said June or July. I guess those are the optimists nowadays. And
Me.
56% said August or September. Like we still have 4 or 5 months to go.
Yeah. Our friend John made a compelling argument.
Did I skew that poll? Perhaps. But
Greased it. All right.
Hmm.
but you know what, guys? We are kind of getting something Star Trek this month.
Tell
Something
us.
Star Trek adjacent, something Star Trek similar, which is that Black Mirror season
Oh,
7
yeah.
releases on April 10th, and that is the sequel
What is
to
it?
USS Callister, the Star Trek parody. Um,
Hmm.
Man, that was awesome.
yeah,
And actually, Melissa got us a cool article on that. It's from a website called, I don't even know how to pronounce this, to be honest. It's Screenrant. Oh, well, that's screenrant.com, of which John Orchiola is the head of the Star Trek division. Cathal Gunning wrote this one. Okay, this is so happy and wonderful and exciting. Now feels like a spoof of J.J. Abrams' $467 million sci-fi sequel. This is awesome. Can you tell us about this, John Orgilla? Were you one of the people like myself? I bet you Matt also loved it, that loved the USS Callister episode.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was great, although I haven't seen it in years, and I haven't
It's
had a chance to
amazing.
rewatch it yet. That's my plan before Black Mirror comes out. But yes, so the director of USS Callister is a man named Toby Haynes, and this actually ties into the other thing that we were going to talk about for April Fools, which is Star Trek 4's release date. Or um,
Hey, what do you mean for April Fools? Anyway, go on, continue.
yes, Toby Haynes is also directing the USS Callister sequel, which I don't know anything about. So because I don't want to be spoiled, also, so I don't seek out spoilers for Black Mirror. But a year so something else that's going on this week in the world of entertainment, film and TV is something called CinemaCon, which is happening in Las Vegas as we speak right now. CinemaCon is the annual gathering of all of the movie studios, where they present their wares about what the next year is going to look like. Now, a year ago at CinemaCon, Paramount announced Star Trek Origin, directed by Toby Haynes, who directed USS Callister. And this was the 22nd century, or set decades before the J.J. Abrams movie, prequel movie about the founding of the Federation.
Mhm.
It's shrouded in mystery. They never announced the cast. They never announced what the starship is. They never announced what the villain. They didn't announce anything except that it was a prequel set decades before J.J. Abrams' first Star Trek movie. What that meant, who knows? We don't even know exactly when that takes place. So this movie was announced to be shooting in 2025, potentially to release in 2026. And this is a year ago, and there has been absolutely no word about this movie ever since. So
Yeah.
perhaps at CinemaCon on Thursday, they will announce it again. And we'll find out what's actually up with Star Trek Origin. Or maybe they won't announce it at all. Maybe we won't hear anything.
Where
And
does
then
CinemaCon
Wait.
take place?
Las Vegas.
Okay,
It'll go
sorry, Jen.
quietly into the night.
So we're
The-
getting a release date or not getting a release date?
Who knows? I don't know.
Does this movie even exist?
Currently, it does not. Currently, there
currently
is
does
no
not.
movie. There was an announcement
To
for a
be
movie a
fair-
year ago.
Fools.
Yeah.
To be fair, we had the same kind of situation with the Wrath of Khan audio series,
Yes.
where that it was announced, things were announced that this was happening, and then there was radio silence until we find out that it's already been cast, it's already been recorded, and
Right, true.
so everything has been done already. We just haven't been hearing anything about it. Everybody's
Right.
keeping everything close to their vest and not sharing a damn thing.
Like the
Right.
Babylon 5 animated movie. Remember, they just kind of dropped it. They're like, hey, here's
Yeah.
a bomb for your
It was like,
face.
Yeah.
by the way,
Right.
here's a
So
Babylon
quite
5.
well, to follow up Melissa's point, quite possibly at 10 a.m. or sometime between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Pacific time on Thursday, we might hear an incredible announcement about Star Trek, about the next Star Trek movie. We might get a
Thursday?
cast, we might get a release date, we might get a poster, we
Yeah.
might get, who knows?
What?
But
Who knows? Well,
Not
because
Star
when
Trek
it was
4. This is
announced-
Star Trek Origin.
The shadow.
Whatever it is.
Well,
Origins.
we might get an
Yes.
actual title,
Right.
because it's just being called the Star Trek Origin movie.
Origin story or something, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
Yeah,
Not an official title yet.
yeah.
But don't you find that is not uncommon for Hollywood? I don't know. My Midwestern sensibilities, when I first moved out here, I was like, oh, this place doesn't work like like where I came from before. Like when people say let's do lunch, they don't really mean let's do
They're
lunch.
so rude about it. You see, Jenny R. Johnson, the Midwest in America is a region that's actually in the Middle Eastern part, but the Middle
Yes.
East was already taken, so
Yes.
we call it the Midwest.
Mhm.
It's really kind
I'm
of
familiar. I'm familiar.
Great
It's
Lakey
funny
and tornado
because
area.
in Canada they call that East, and then they forget that the Maritimes exist. So
What's a maritime? That's
The ocean.
yeah, so like people
The
out west
coast?
in Canada talk about
Yeah.
East like Toronto and Montreal are East, and they're not.
they're southeast.
But what I'm saying is you're calling the Midwest isn't really the Midwest. Same thing with
No.
us. East isn't actually East. Like the East Coast is different. Anyway, blah blah
So
blah.
basically,
I'm just trying
what
to
you're
relate to you, man.
No, I get you. What you're saying is our Midwest is basically as far west as your East.
Is East, yeah.
Yeah.
Only it's not. But yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so I just feel like, for example, right?
Matt's like, back to work, you guys. Come
Back
on,
to
this is
back.
this is
Listen.
stupid talk.
No, I just so the Battlestar Galactica, right? There has been for the last
Wait, what?
14 years, there's been talk about a reboot of Battlestar
Yes.
Galactica again. And
And
it's gone through
Right.
how many different showrunners and how many different people are associated with the project. And those of us who worked on it are just kind of sitting back here going, okay, well, that might be a good person. This might be good. And then finally they're just like, nah, we're sorry, everyone. It's not actually happening.
Mhm.
Same with new Last Starfighter movie. Oh yeah, these people are working on it. Oh, look at this really
I
cool
don't
art.
think they are really.
And again, it's just I don't know. I just feel like we're in that constant news cycle of like, oh, people's interest in like, hey, guess what? Let's talk about Star Trek 4 again.
Yeah,
Let's do
I wonder if wait, oh, what?
But look at
2025?
yeah, 2024.
Oh, last year. Okay, right. Okay. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
Based in
hilarious.
Canada. This is confusing.
Whoa, that is confusing. What?
That's actually and that's a repost. That's a repost
Yeah.
from July when actually the announcement
Of
happened. Like, in April.
1989.
Yeah. Yeah, right around the time Shatner was finishing Star Trek 5, they announced Star Trek Origins.
Yeah.
And they've been pushing it back.
So I'm assuming that it's always been this way. It's just that we have so many more like news entities trying grabbing
also,
info, and it sort of gets
these multi-million-dollar, potentially multi-billion-dollar IPs are very, very secretive. They are they are the CIA. Everybody signs NDAs. Nobody talks. Because corporations come down hard when you leak information. You say things you're not supposed to say, Mr. Frakes. But
Leak? Did somebody say leak?
I'm not detecting any leak.
Mhm.
Don't you guys in the 24th century ever pee? Or what did you say? Go to the bathroom?
P. Nice as P.
Oh, leak. I get it.
yeah.
That's funny.
So I mean, to Melissa and Matt's point, potentially there is a lot going on with Star Trek Origin that they've just not talked about at all for a year, and are now going to suddenly drop all this exciting information on Thursday, possibly.
Allegedly.
That would be great. I would love that. It'd give me lots to write about.
Yeah.
Give me something to do.
Right. Yes.
It's hard writing about Star Trek when there's no Star Trek. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I bet.
Well,
Absolutely.
and to that point, John, about the secrecy, when I first started on Top Gun Maverick, we did not have the script was not available in PDF format. Now, I mean, on a lot of the shows that I've worked on, they do, but then they plaster your name all over it, right? So in case it ever gets leaked out, everybody knows who did it.
Yep.
So you guard those with your life. But for the Top Gun Maverick one, they did not. There was a single script that existed in a safe at the office, and you had to write your name and check it in and out. And like, even if you got up to go to the bathroom, you had to return it to the safe to let them know. And like, I'm just going to the bathroom. I'll be back, and check it back out. So
that's cool.
And we used to get people pretending to be the media and hey, is so and so there? They were trying. Oh my gosh, they were trying to get.
How many Tom Cruise impersonators came into the office to check out that script?
I don't know if I ever saw that, but I actually did get to meet Tom Cruise, so that was cool.
Nice.
Nice. I worked with the Tom Cruise impersonator. That's
nice.
Yeah,
what's short.
One of my best friends is the greatest Tom Cruise impersonator in the world.
Really?
He goes, but yeah, his Instagram handle is not Tom Cruise, but he's been doing this for a long time, and Tom Cruise judged a contest and judged him to be the best, and he got to meet Tom Cruise.
That's amazing.
Wow, I'm gonna see if it's the same guy right now.
Ooh,
Evan Ferrante. Known him for 25 years. He's a great friend of mine. I was there when the whole Tom Cruise impersonator thing started. I was part of the little contingent that was egging him on to do it because he looked and sounded just like Tom Cruise.
That's
I
wild.
didn't even know this was a thing.
He looks like Tom Cruise.
Cruise?
I only knew about the Tom Cruise deepfake guy.
Well, that's him too sometimes. Like he'll deepfake himself or he gets deepfaked. But he doesn't need it. He looks
Yeah.
and sounds just like Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Crazy. That's awesome.
I don't think it's the same guy.
Not Tom
Tom Cruise was my first celebrity crush.
Really?
I was in love with Tom
Mhm.
Cruise when I was a little whippersnapper.
Oh. Mm.
I just realized we're completely off the rails here, guys.
Are we?
Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad.
Okay.
My bad.
And like Sean Connery when the book fell on his head, I blame myself. Okay.
Nice.
So,
Very nice.
yeah, that's just a quote.
So the bottom line is we know nothing about anything.
Terrible twos. Well, no, we do know. Well, actually, John, do you need to jump off? I know you had a limited amount of time. How are you doing on that time?
Oh, we're fine. I can hang for a little bit longer.
Awesome. It's an
We're all good.
April Fool's Day miracle.
April Fools bless us, everyone.
It's the fish of April Fools that came and bestowed a finny, wet kiss on us.
Finny.
Oh, and Lucia Raz in the live chat says, "I'm very confused. Why are we talking about Tom Cruise?"
There
Actually,
you go.
this is very relevant. By the way, in French we say poisson d'avril, so that actually is the fish of April, which for April Fools.
Oh,
When they say
I like
they don't
that.
say they don't say April Fools, they say fish of April. Ha ha ha. No, but
I love French.
but
Yeah.
That's great.
Lucia is actually very relevant to this next one, which is who knows if they'll stick with it, but we do officially have a Star Trek 4 premiere
What?
date.
No, that's a lie.
And it was leaked out of Brazil. So Lucia probably knows this. Let me see if she's already.
It was Lucia who leaked it.
What was the convention? What's the convention? Not the big one that they do in Brazil. Let me pull it up. Not the big one that they do in Brazil, but like that was like a few months ago. But another one. There's a convention in Rio. Let's see if she's got it. Anyway, Arg Scott says Poisson d'Avril. He knows. Lucia says, oh, it's the LIE convention. Got it. That's what it is. She
Aha.
says in the live chat.
Yeah, that's the LIEs.
So,
The OLE, like ole?
LIE.
Oh,
that's what she
like,
says.
wait.
It's the LIE.
Oh,
It's at the end of March every year.
wait.
And
Ooh, I like that. She says in Brazil it's called the Dia da Mentira. The Day of Lies. That's awesome.
She's clever. So
Yes.
the date that they said, let me look this up here.
When should I go to the theater for Star Trek 4?
September 21st. December 21st, 2025. It's at the end
Christmas
of this year.
Day.
The winter
Christmas
solstice. No, 21st.
21st.
Oh, 21st.
2025.
Okay.
So that is, we'll see what happens.
Who
That's rock
says?
solid.
Yeah. Anyway.
Trek Culture says, "I'll wake up Sean." That's awesome.
Okay, so that's really, boy. And I also heard they might actually pull it to release it sooner. So it's
wow.
good news there.
That's
Everybody
amazing.
Going straight to streaming.
Straight to
Everybody
streaming.
look
By
forward
the
to
way,
that.
Ryan, relevant to the LIE convention, back in the 1980s,
In Rio.
WWF. Yes, back in the 1980s, when something happened and they, like, let's say somebody got fired backstage and they didn't want to acknowledge it, but he was a champion, and suddenly they had to put the championship on somebody new, but they didn't have time to actually do a match. They would say it happened in Rio de Janeiro. And so, like, the next week, somebody would come in and is like, "Hey, this is the new champion. How did that happen?" Well, there was a tournament in Rio de Janeiro.
In Rio, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Oh my.
Yeah. And they dance on the sand. There it is. Anyway, well, look,
Love it.
I'll be honest.
Do
That that may have been a lie. Not by me, but by the
You
people
think?
by the
Really?
people that leaked it. That's
Word of the
um
day.
but
Leak.
the other things are true. In other
Which
words,
thing?
this next item, Paramount-Skydance merger,
Oh.
has fallen through. So yeah, we kind of predicted this was going to happen too, because there's been all these delays and all these bidding wars and all that. And so, the son of the would-be owner of the Golden State Warriors, was going to do it. What's his name? David Ellison, right?
Mhm.
Um, but that's fallen through. And so now I saw something where they're like Disney was going to acquire Star Trek. I'm like, you're not fooling me. Nobody thinks that's going to happen. But anyway, so that's, yeah, anyway.
Wait, probably to Melissa too. What does that mean, Walter Ian K? What is probably to Melissa too?
I think you have to scroll. It says, to me, the lie is the Long Island Expressway. Oh, the LIE. It's funny.
Oh,
And probably to Melissa too, because you lived in New York, right?
I did, but I didn't drive a car in New York. What was the point? You got the subway, you got buses, you got your feet.
I feel like that makes sense.
It makes no sense to own a car in New York City.
No.
Yeah. Especially if you have to pay for a parking spot.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so
we talk
John,
about-
can you shed some light on this merger fall through? Because I just saw, I didn't really read the whole thing, but so that's fallen through and now we're back to square one. But then that also means that there's probably not going to be any new Star Trek, because that's kind of been a holdup on creating new Star Trek, is that if there's no merger, they kind of have to go through start all over, and they don't know what they're going to buy, so they can't make new Star Trek, right? Something like that.
I think you just summed it up. That's the extent of my knowledge of the Paramount and Skydance merger falling through. Alex Kurtzman, the whole Secret Hideout team just got fired yesterday, and yeah, they're already tearing down the sets of Strange New Worlds. And
Tearing down the sets angrily, just ripping it apart like wallpaper on a wall.
Spock is still in waste extraction, and
somebody ran into
tearing down the
hair and
walls.
makeup, and somebody ran into hair and makeup and literally stamped down Anson Mount's hair because he can't have it anymore.
Oh.
It's combing all the hairspray out of it.
Somebody came by with a weed whacker while he was napping, just went.
That was a flat top.
But serious question here. What did they do with his apron?
Well, that goes into a special Star Trek auction, and someone will pay $10,000 for it.
It's true.
Let me see. Let me
That
look at
is
it. Oh,
true.
it's called the sniffing auction.
Lisa said no, because I put some tape with my name on it. They can't auction it off.
So, can I ask, like, why the merger fell through?
Yes, Ryan. Why did the merger fall
Why
through?
did the merger
That's
fall
where I
through?
stopped reading, because that stuff is Greek to me. I cannot understand. Once they start talking about legalese in the fourth paragraph, I'm just like, can you just say, like, it
April
was too
Fools?
expensive, or it was about they didn't do it in the amount of time that they were supposed to legally.
I
So
did read
that's
about this. I did read this article, and it was in the April Fool's Clause.
Yes.
Mm.
Or the
What?
I don't
April
think
Fool's
that's.
clause.
I don't think that's.
April
What?
Fools?
It was in the April Fool's Clause.
What?
I don't even.
It
This
has
is
not
why it fell
actually fallen
through.
through, Jenny.
Yes.
I don't have the emotional capacity to handle this. I am. What? Oh my God. I'm actually like not all right. Oh no.
They are.
How do you say
Melissa,
joke?
Melissa is playing an April Fool's joke, pretending like this is an April Fool, like that is. But
Oh, okay.
you know. Anyway, let's move on to the next
Please.
true item.
Oh my God.
And that is actually Star Trek Con has been postponed, which is weird because they've
Oh
already
yes.
finished recording it,
Oh
yet they're
my God.
postponing the release to 2026. John, why
Yeah,
is this?
they taped over the tapes. So this is really what happened. Was that
they,
somebody
they
screwed
hit the
up.
two
They
buttons.
hit two buttons, and they recorded the iHeartRadio awards over it by
No, you
mistake.
gotta break the little
So they
thing
lost the
off.
audio. They lost the audio track,
Gotta break
and
Or
the
no, no, no,
thing.
no, no. You gotta put the thing back on. You gotta like tape over the hole.
And now when you
yeah,
play
right.
it,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
forgot to tape
there's
over the
Debbie
whole.
Gibson's Eternal Flame that plays over it.
Yes.
And Cyndi Lauper's Could Have Been So Beautiful. Wait, no, that's Tiffany.
That is definitely not Cyndi
Yeah.
Lauper.
That's
Yeah.
Tiffany.
Yeah.
No, Debbie Gibson was I Think We're Alone Now, right?
Eternal.
But they
No,
also
that was
didn't.
that
No,
was
the Bangles
that was
is
Tiffany.
Eternal Flame.
That was Tiffany.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Bengals were Eternal Flame.
The Bangles are the best.
I think it's so brilliant how their name, like it's like the Beatles
Yeah.
and the Bangles, but the
Yeah.
Beatles is like a bug, but they with an E, two E's, and they changed it by adding an A instead of an E, so it's a beat. And the Bangles is a tiger with an E, but they changed the E to be an A, so it's a bang. I'm
Yeah.
guessing that's what it is, right? Like it seems like it's an exact homage to the Beatles,
Or
but they're the
Bangle is a
Bangles.
bracelet too.
Bracelet and then also the beat bang.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, to summarize this little problem with Star Trek Con. So right now it really is just the Bangles' greatest hits. So they lost the audio track, and
Cincinnati?
yeah, the Magnavox cassette really. They blamed the Magnavox cassette player, but it was really a human error.
Mhm.
Poor
Yeah.
Lucia. She's so confused right now.
Yeah.
We're
Lucia is not alone in that.
OH
being very-
Katrina Katrina said, I'm too neurodivergent for this. We're very sorry, Katrina. That sounds difficult to go through with all of this lying going on. But
Yeah.
I will summarize it by saying a couple of those previous things that we said were lies. This Star Trek Con being recorded over, that is a true
And
thing.
to clarify, you're saying Star Trek Con, right?
Yeah.
Not con. Because I was
Right.
behind on that for a minute there too. And I'm like, what con are we talking about?
The one where you give them money.
Hmm.
But we're not
April
talking
1st
about
is
that.
always
We're talking
confusing
about
for
con
me.
as in con like the guy, right? Star Trek
Yeah.
Con, the audio
Drama.
novelization or
Which is
whatever.
now the best of the Bangles. Yes.
Right. But the best of the Bangles exists. What's happening? Like I have it on CD over there.
And so does Khan.
Oh God.
Oh no.
He has it on Botany Bay on SETI Alpha 5.
Okay. All right. I am.
All right, okay. Can we stop lying? Why don't we stop lying about everything? And let's talk about
I know.
action
We're gonna have to
figures.
write an
Let's talk about
editorial.
action figures. That's fun.
The editor
Stop
would like to
lying.
apologize for
Today's
Taking us
April
on-
Fool's Day. You'll take everything with a grain of salt.
Everything. We actually said a lot of true stuff too.
Yeah, it's
So-
Right.
basically all of it, right? Okay. For example,
Ooh.
this is also a true item. Maybe. I don't know. I didn't curate this one, so I don't know if this is actually true. TrekMovie.com says Universal FanFest nights to feature Quark's Cafe and 10 Forward Bar watch new TV spot with Star Trek fans. Oh, that's cute. I don't think we could watch that or they'll yell at us for YouTube.
Yeah.
But
Possibly. It's
That
really
is-
cute.
But that is actually true. This is true. And that is not an April Fool's joke. That is true. That article just details a lot of the fun stuff you can eat and drink
yum.
at Universal Fan
Ooh,
Fest if you go
very
to the Star Trek
nice.
thing. Yeah. Some really cool
Well,
stuff like
yeah.
Klingon Targ. You can eat Klingon Targ. There's a Cardassian
Yeah.
dog. You can drink
We
Romulan
did
ale.
cover
You can
that on
Canard, yeah.
Friday,
Mm.
I believe,
We
but
did
or
indeed.
last week. We did cover it last week.
Yeah,
But
it's old
Yeah.
news, but yeah,
yeah,
the
but
video's new.
the TV spot is brand spanking new and it's fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And they
This is
did include
great.
a Marty McFly time machine burger of some sort and a milkshake and
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, because other franchises are part of Universal FanFest
Yeah.
besides Star Trek.
Right.
Yeah, there's a
Right.
bunch of them. It's
Right.
actually like there's a lot of really cool
Yeah,
stuff
Dungeons and
happening.
Dragons, Back to the Future,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
some other cool
Will,
stuff.
will we have time to visit and do all of the things in one night, or is this something where you just have to go like 3 nights to do all the fun stuff?
I think if you want to do Star Trek, you're going to end up just doing Star Trek, unless
Because I
because
want to
I
do
think
Dungeons and Dragons.
Well,
we
or do
might
you
be
think
able to
it's
do
going to
two
be
things.
like
You can do
Halloween
two
Horror
things.
Nights?
Yeah,
Because they
but
can.
there'll
I
be
mean,
lines.
Halloween Horror Nights is
Mm.
it's open till like I don't know what 2 in the morning, and then although it's never as much fun to go through later in the evening because at that point everybody's tired and the actors are not as enthusiastic about scaring you.
Uh,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know.
Well, maybe
Get
that's when I
here.
do need to go. Then they're less
Uh-huh.
scary.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but it sounds
So
like for the Star Trek that that it's an experience that
Mhm.
they have a whole story that
Mhm.
that you're going to participate in
Hmm.
Is
as
that right? I didn't know
through
that.
it.
I thought you were just going to
Yeah.
walk onto the bridge of the Enterprise. I didn't know there was going to
Yeah,
be a whole
No.
thing. That's actually
no,
awesome.
it's a whole
Yeah.
story that they've
There's
Forgot
a
the
red
bridge is
concocted with
alert
the
there.
that
actors and
goes
everything.
on.
Yeah.
Wow,
all I've
it's
heard
really cool.
is uh when you go onto the bridge, look at the carpet. That's all
You
I know.
better,
Yeah.
especially because they have to like resource a bunch of that carpet to make it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Spill your coffee on it.
so
Oh,
So,
hot
we have a
does everyone
chocolate.
have plans? I haven't actually firmed up my plans yet to go to Universal Fan Fest, but I
I
will go more than
yeah.
once.
when is it again? I know it's like 3 weeks.
Like April. Yeah, I don't
April
know. April.
25th
Okay.
to May 18th.
Right.
Okay.
So I've got
That's
to I've got to figure that out.
okay. So we have a poll. Where did Matt go? He had to go do something. He has to go
Whoa.
find his true and false signs.
Oh,
And his
sorry.
cat.
I had to go let a cat out of the office.
Let a cat out of the
True.
bag, like about Star Trek 4.
Seriously, she
So
was about to.
our poll is, which is the least likely to be true? Star
Mm.
Trek 4, Bangles' Greatest Hits, Merger Falls Through, and Star Trek Con Postponed.
The least likely to be true.
hmm Because I will let the cat out of the bag. One of those is actually not true.
At least one.
At least one.
At least one of them is not true.
At least 4 out of a possible 4.
I'm going to say the least likely to be true. The least likely to be true is probably con.
Wait, that it's happening or that it's not? Wait, what?
Postponed.
Oh, yeah, because they just announced Naveen Andrews like 3 weeks
Yeah.
ago.
But
So
the Bengals are definitely true.
yeah, yeah.
No, the Bangles' Greatest Hits.
Oh my God.
No, they don't have a Greatest Hits album.
Yes, they do.
Not according to this poll. They don't.
That's what I'm telling you.
Okay, and the poll results are 11% said the merger falls through is the least likely. 14% said Star Trek Con being postponed is the least likely. 29% said the Bengals' Greatest Hits is the least likely. So, and and
It already exists.
It already exists. I own it. God.
yeah. Oh, that makes me want to hear Manic Monday, but what would be Tuesday?
Yeah.
It's just another Star Trek Tuesday.
You know what's even better than Manic Monday?
Whoa.
Walk Like
The
an Egyptian?
Bengals cover. No, The Bangles cover of Hazy Shade of Winter
Yeah, by Simon and Garfunkel. It's great.
banger.
Oh, I
A
love that.
banger from
I
the
love
Bangles.
A
Mm.
bangler.
blasting
A
that
bangler.
song,
Bangler. A bangler.
driving through
Nice.
canyons, and I'm like, yeah,
What?
it's great.
Oh, I love that. I want to do that
Oh.
with you. Okay,
Yes,
awesome.
let's do
Yes.
it. Let's do
Oh,
it.
I
It's
love
a
that you
date.
love that. Oh, that makes me so happy. Oh, that's the happiest thing that's happened so far.
John Orchiola knows that Canyon is actually a wrestler.
Chris Canyon.
Yeah.
Who better than Canyon?
Nobody.
Well, no,
and
everybody. That's why he got so mad every time.
Yeah, well, that was mean.
Nobody.
That's a Jim Harbaugh thing.
No, it's a different thing. There's
Nog
a...
is laughing too.
Oh, we'll get to Nog. Okay. Which is the
Yeah.
least likely to be true? 44% said Star Trek 4. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Enough screwing around, everybody. One of those things was actually untrue. But this item is extremely true. Melissa, tell us about this story item here.
Oh, yes. I read that earlier today that Star Trek is now, because the reason for the delays is that Star Trek is now going to be all animated from here on out.
As a cost-saving measure for Paramount Global.
Right.
As a cost-saving measure for Paramount Global. Yes.
Yes.
I'm not sure I believe this, Melissa. Are you lying to
Well,
us?
Yeah, I mean,
But that's not what
It
this is a
would
news
save
show.
I
costs.
know. But
It makes
this is what I
sense.
read, so everything on the internet is true,
It's
right?
true.
So
Mhm.
That
yeah,
tracks.
but in the
Okay.
style of Lower Decks, every
Specifically,
All-Star
nice.
Trek,
Okay.
yes, specifically. So All Star
Hmm.
Trek is going to be animated from here on out because they were tired of hiring Crafty, paying for Crafty. That was just too much.
Dude,
Voice actors don't
You-
need to eat.
you have
Or
never experienced pain until you've had to pick out all the green M&Ms because somebody on
Oh,
set
gee.
doesn't want to eat anything but green M&Ms.
Yep.
I'll eat the green M&Ms. I have
Yeah.
some pretty colored M&Ms right here that I had made for the Women of Sci-Fi convention, and they say "Happy Spring" on them and "Women of Sci-Fi" and thank
That's
you.
lovely.
Oh,
I
That was
ate
really
mine
cool,
already.
actually.
They were good, right?
They were pretty delicious. Yes.
I wish I had some. Whoa.
They taste like good deeds.
Oh,
Yeah.
they do. They do.
Also in the news, and maybe the biggest news story to come out of the last week is from gizmodo.com. Check this one out. More of Nacelle's excellent Star Trek toys are coming, and we need them all.
yes.
Whoa, whoa,
Yes.
Look
what?
at this. Oh my God.
Look at those little Kirk buns.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see them from the side right
Yeah, little perky buns.
there. And he's got a horse and a stump.
And eggs and a jar of dill
The
weed.
jar of
What?
dillweed, that
That's
sells me right
awesome.
there.
Mhm.
That's enough
Wow.
dillweed.
Great.
Yeah,
I don't
You know
think
what
it's the
it needs?
final. I don't think it's the final version
Fantastic.
either. I think they might add some more.
You know,
some more
there's just
accessories.
one thing missing to this action figure, and I can't remember what it is.
I
Ah,
think it's a frying
toast.
pan. Yes.
Toast.
I think and
I
frying
love
pan
that.
and Katarian eggs.
right.
Oh
I think I'm
God,
going to
this
hold up
is-
for the Nexus playset, though.
Nice.
Oh, the Nexus playset. Christmas on one end
Mm.
and a country lodge on the other.
Special Victorian
Exactly.
Christmas. And yeah, Will and Deanna's Nepenthe house.
The
Oh,
penthouse.
those
Yeah.
The penthouse. That's very
Mhm.
good.
The penthouse. I just
Yeah.
got it. I was like, no,
You know,
it's Nepenthe.
when I edit this, I'll match your reaction at the same time as ours, Melissa. Don't worry about it.
No. It's okay.
Okay, but there's way more to this, and Melissa knows that this is the coolest thing of all. We have a Nog action figure from
Oh
the
my
episode
gosh.
Favor the Bold, and it
Amazing.
is damn about time. And Nacelle, the people at Nacelle are
gosh.
freaking heroes
Yeah.
for
Yes.
realizing this and doing this.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
They are
Yes.
true Star Trek fans.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. And
This
I will
needs
be
to
the first to
become-
pre-order if
I was just
if
gonna
I
say it needs to
see
be a
it first.
seventh rule exclusive.
They need
Oh,
to
yeah.
just they need to just send you one, I think.
Yeah.
I think it needs to come
Send
in a
her
nice
like
box with a
100,
bow. Yeah.
and then she'll be like in a
Maybe not
sea of
100.
Nogs.
Do you want to see if Nogs?
Need a sea of Nogs.
Yeah.
Oh,
It needs
Maybe
to
like
come in
20.
a self-stealing
Yeah.
stembolt package.
a lake of
It
Nogs.
probably will come with a self-sealing stun belt.
Ooh, hopefully.
So look how great these are. So we have a
Yeah.
Janeway from Year of Hell.
Yeah, not just Janeway, but Tank Top Janeway,
Yeah,
Right.
that's
which is
the,
like a whole other fandom.
Right.
That's like the Linda Hamilton
is.
Janeway.
Yes.
Right?
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
we have
Maybe
Worf
we'll
and
live.
Geordi from Generations as well.
Woohoo!
That's 3
Yeah.
generations.
Yeah.
Three
I wonder if they
generations.
just love that movie.
Maybe.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, I
But
like it a lot.
Jordy better have that hat.
Oh, does Worf come with a plank that you can retract?
One would
man,
hope.
I hope so. And we have T'Pol from the later
Mhm.
It's gonna
seasons.
be
Yep.
the second pre-order.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
need Nog and T'Pol.
Hmm.
Definitely.
I definitely want a
That's
Valaris.
true.
Hmm.
The first Vulcan trader action figure.
Mm.
All right.
Romulan Commander, of course.
Hmm.
Balance
this-
of
wait, is-
Terror. Remember when Strange New
Did Mark,
Worlds had
Mark
kind of
Lenard did get a Sarek figure once, didn't he? Like there is an existing Sarek figure somewhere.
I don't know, actually.
There must
I
be,
don't know.
even from
So like
from
Next
TNG,
Generation when he
right?
showed
Yeah,
up. Yeah, for the TNG from Playmates, I think.
that
this is-
feels
but the-
right.
Yeah, but this is like the second Mark Lenard figure, like
Yeah.
of all time.
I don't know. I don't
There wasn't
I
a
don't
there wasn't a
I don't
Sarek
remember
figure.
seeing one.
No.
I'm sure there was. I
Yes,
vaguely remember
there-
seeing one
it's
once.
old Sarek.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from next
yeah,
gen.
crazy,
Yeah.
crazy Van
Oh,
Diesel
right.
Sarek.
White hair Sarek. Yes.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
going
Yeah, I
nuts.
remember that. Uh-huh.
Mm.
With the robes.
Yeah,
I do remember that one. Yes.
Mhm.
For
It's
sure.
Ambassador Sarek. Yep.
Mm.
I love
Okay.
that there is a Carol Marcus.
Carol
Mhm.
Marcus.
Yeah, that's pretty cool too.
She's important, and also she's gonna look fine in that jacket. And I love that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, Admiral Kurt's jacket.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
I will
like-
say probably the thing that I was the most impressed by was Bem from the animated series
Mhm.
episode. I was like,
Mhm.
you know it's going to break apart into 3 pieces, right?
Yeah,
That's so cool.
That is brilliant.
yeah,
I mean, it's got to. It's Mugatu.
Yeah.
yeah. It can't not.
Got to.
It can't not.
Yeah. No,
It
the winner
can't
is
not.
Nog.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
By a mile.
Hey, yeah, there
The
he is.
winner-
Winner's Nog.
Is the
Yeah, that's
fans.
awesome.
I actually hope it's kind of like it's appropriate, like in scale, so that
Mm.
So he's not as tall as Kirk. He's
Oh,
not
right.
doing them side by
Right.
side.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like they'd do that, wouldn't they? They'd do that.
I wish
for
Kirk
sure.
met Nog. Why didn't Kirk ever meet Nog? Oh, well, besides the fact he was dead.
But Aaron did meet
Shatner.
Shatner. They
Call me
actually
Bill.
worked on a commercial together.
Nice.
Oh, did they?
Oh,
Speaking
Yeah,
of Bill
he did.
Shatner, did you see his big announcement this morning? That he's going to Mars with Elon Musk?
No.
Yep, he announced on Facebook and all of social media that he accepted Elon Musk's invitation to travel with him to Mars, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to leave his home planet behind.
Hmm.
I'm going to wait for him to confirm that tomorrow.
He
Sure.
might. Well, their space shuttle might just crash at LIE in Rio de Janeiro. but-
Very
Right.
likely. Very likely.
Mm-hmm.
But can we get back to Nog? Because I would like to
Yes.
Yes.
speculate. I'd like to
Yes.
speculate
Yes.
what kind of accessories he may have.
Ooh,
I also wanted to ask you,
agreed.
Melissa,
Mm.
do you think Aaron would have wanted them as a funny little nod to include on the package choking hazard?
That
Would
would
that
be
be a
hilarious.
good deep cut joke, right?
That would be hilarious. I thought you were gonna say, would would Aaron have wanted them to include a whip? Because
Oh, cool. Yeah, because he never
Aaron
got one.
Aaron always wanted a whip. He never got one. But the
Like a
choking hazard
Corvette?
thing
Yeah.
is a deep cut. Yeah, like the
I
Corvette.
needed to
Mhm.
have a opposable middle finger.
Nice.
Nice.
Isn't the cell actually accepting suggestions like that you can, you can
Yeah.
request accessories and stuff?
Yeah.
That's definitely something we should do. Let's give Nog a
Mhm.
whip. The whip he never got in real life.
I
From
love that.
Right?
Vermont.
It's
He
a
got a
family
ship named
heirloom.
after him. That's
Yeah,
pretty
right?
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Hmm.
But Aaron would be so stoked about this.
Right?
Hmm.
He would be
Aw.
so stoked about this because previously he was the choking hazard and he came with Rom. He was the accessory to Rom
Oh
and
my
he
God.
was the choking hazard, which was why if nacelles did
Yeah.
put choking hazard on the package, it would be hilarious.
Hysterical. Like
That's incredible.
there was a ROM action figure, and one
Right.
of the accessories was just a little nog, and it was called it. That was like the funniest, and he loved
Yeah.
it. He took it well, but of course
Yeah.
he hammed it up and would be like, "What? Do this? Call me the choking hazard." But this would be
Yeah.
he's finally getting the respect he deserves. And all
Exactly.
joking aside,
Mhm.
it's a long time coming, and really cool of them to do.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's so special.
Yeah. It's great. And
Mhm.
when I read about it, because both John and Ryan texted me almost exactly at the same time, or I read them exactly at the same time.
I got like
And
a bunch of people, like it just blew up as soon as it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
mentioned, everybody everywhere all at once. It was pretty
yeah.
awesome.
But I was standing in a bagel shop and I was trying so hard not to
Oh,
cry because I was like, oh
Aw.
my gosh. Yes,
that's
finally.
amazing.
Yay.
So
Yeah.
when are these coming out?
Good
I
question.
didn't check. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
Has
know.
Wave 1 come out yet? This is the announcement for Wave 2
Wave
at
Yeah.
WonderCon. So I'm not sure if
Wave
Wave 1 has actually been released.
Oh wait,
it is
you can
available for
pre-order
order.
Wave 1.
Right.
Right.
But the
Those
cost
initial
isn't
figures.
that bad.
Yeah, this is a long wait, man. We might have Star Trek 4 before these toys. It says for now you can pre-order
No.
Wave 1 at the nacelles. They're still pre-ordering these. Those initial figures should ship out in October
Mhm.
and cost $29 for individual figures or $225 the full set. No word yet on when Wave 2 will be up for pre-order or a shipping date, but we'll keep you posted.
Still, at
Because I was
least
thinking
they're
like we'll get them for
communicating.
Vegas.
It'll probably be 2026 when Wave 2 comes out.
Hmm.
That's cool though. We'll have some fun with it. All right, live chat. We have a question for you here. The question is, besides Nog, because that would be the obvious answer, which are you most excited or impressed by? Captain Kirk in Generations, Janeway in Year of Hell, Worf or Geordi in Generations in their sailor uniforms, where Crusher gets pushed off a boat. You did air. And Patricia Tallman actually took the fall for her. Shout out to Patricia Tallman of Babylon 5. Or to Paul in seasons 3 and 4. Valeris, The Undiscovered Country. Romulan Commander in Balance of Terror. Carol Marcus, Wrath of Khan. or Bem from the animated series episode. I don't remember what it was called, but he was a cool character. And they had another one in Lower Decks, another one of those guys that was a rascal.
Hmm.
What
Yeah,
do you
she was
guys
running
think?
the tests.
Mhm.
I mean, Admiral Kirk or Captain Kirk in Generations does come with a horse, which is pretty badass. And apparently he'll fit on the horse. Yeah, you can put him on it
That's
and
amazing.
go. But I say Valeris because I never thought there'd be a Valeris action figure ever.
Hmm. Hmm. I feel like of all of them, the Nog one for me feels like the biggest love letter to like fans in a like like emotional way because it's just sort of shows like I mean, yeah, like it just feels
It's a deep cut to
very
true Deep Space Nine
special.
fans.
It's very special. Yeah, like
Mhm.
Mhm. It's very
But
heartfelt.
yeah.
besides Nog, what do you got?
Besides Nog,
Yeah,
Tank
because
Top Janeway.
he's the top. He's
Mm.
the easy top.
Tank
Legacy
Top
Z top.
Janeway.
Tank Top
Okay.
Jane.
Because that is a whole other subset of the community that is yeah.
That was Katie Nicolau's
All
cosplay.
right.
Had a bunch of cons last year.
That's right. I
Yes,
Yeah.
remember that.
exactly.
Oh, and
Exactly.
she's out of surgery safely. So
Yes.
that's
Get
Oh,
well
cool.
soon, Katie.
Yay.
Oh, that's good. That is
Mm,
crazy that she was still having that much pain from that accident
Mm,
I know.
2 years later.
yeah.
It was a
Mm,
pretty brutal accident.
Yeah.
it
Hmm.
was.
Yeah. We're excited. That old labrum's just gonna fix up in no time. You got
Yeah.
this.
No,
Yeah.
but that's great. Good job that she's out of
Yeah.
there, and I'm sure we'll be talking with her on Friday, unless she's too drugged up. In which case
I
we'll be
s-
like, take the night off, please. She'll be like, no, I'm fine. I
Right.
want to talk about it. We're like,
I want to try cherry tomatoes.
oh, all right, then she can come on.
I
What
texted
about
her.
you,
I texted her a
Melissa?
photo. Oh, I texted her a
Oh,
photo of the Winter Soldier just because because I want her to have like a robot
nice,
arm.
Nice.
nice. Melissa, besides Nog, what do you think? What's the most impressive and exciting?
I'm gonna go to Paul
Yeah.
because I feel like she's just now getting the love that she deserves too.
Yup.
Mhm.
In much the same way that Nog is, and I love
Hmm.
T'Pol. I love her character.
Me too.
The others are, I mean, yes, Valeris is a deep cut. Carol Marcus is a deep cut. Jordy and Worf, they're always popular, and
Hmm.
we see a lot of stuff with them. Janeway, we see a lot of stuff with her. But to Paul, she
Yeah.
doesn't really get the light shone on her very often. So
Hmm.
I'm excited about to Paul.
Well said. Yeah. Hmm.
Did we get yours,
Yeah.
Matt?
No, but everybody else is kind of taken. I mean,
Mm.
with this set, I mean, I'm
Say
looking at
say
but
Romulan Commander so that in another lifetime he can call you friend.
there we go. Yes, exactly. Exactly that. No, but like I'm looking at Bem and I'm like, oh man, I gotta go back
Yeah,
and
that's
watch
pretty
the
cool
animated.
too.
I gotta
Mhm.
watch the animated series again because I'm like, again,
Yeah.
that for me is a deep cut that I am
For sure. Yeah.
not familiar with. So
Hmm.
Hmm.
I'll give you this. I am actually like, they took 2 of these slots and gave them to regular characters just in fancy clothes. And I don't know about that myself.
Right.
Again, I am not the world's biggest Generations fan, so I feel like those 2 slots might have been better used, but
okay,
who am I to say?
what would you have liked to have seen instead?
Yeah, who from Generations would you have wanted to see?
Does it have to be Generations? Why does it have to be Generations?
The deep cut
We
would have been
obviously like
Picard's
Generations.
fake
There's
wife
3
in
of
the
them.
Victorian dress, right?
No, man, no.
What
Or
about
Lily
a Data going,
Sloan.
yes?
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mr.
What was it?
Tricorder.
Lily Sloan. Or
Lily
like,
Sloan.
give me friggin' Rex the bartender. That's what I want. You
Mr.
know?
Mott. We need
Yeah.
a freaking Mr. Mott.
Yeah.
Mr. Mott.
That's a good
Yeah.
one. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
one. And a Captain Baudet.
Yeah. Or a Robin
Captain
Leffler.
Captain Baudet. Ooh,
Mhm.
Robin Leffler would be good
Yeah,
too.
right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Or
Michael
the
Eddington.
that guy. The
Oh, the Zach
Oh,
Dorman.
the
Reese's
Zach
Dorman
guy,
Years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kohlrami. Kohlrami.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
It's in there.
What about Iggy Pop?
Kyle Riker?
Iggy Pop.
Yelgren.
Kyle Riker.
Yelgren.
Yes.
Yelgren?
Mhm.
I want freaking, what was that game that they were playing?
I think there was a Kyle Riker.
Jitsu.
And Bujitsu,
Action
yeah.
figure.
Did they have
Yeah.
those?
I want a
Mhm.
Kyle Riker and a Pulaski that you can like make them make out.
Or Pulaski with Pulaski's chicken soup as one of the
Yeah.
accessories?
What about
Yeah.
a Crusher and Troy in stretching gear?
Well, that's coming, I'm sure.
I mean,
I mean, of course.
With
That's
a
a
little
two-pack.
mirror
Get
prop.
them.
Yeah.
I would get them.
oh my god, or a Dax and Kira in like the princess hats.
Yeah. When she goes, and
Yes.
I don't usually
Yeah.
dress like this either, she says.
Yeah.
I need Odo in a tux with a piano accessory
There you
and
go.
Kira
There you
that
go.
lays across the piano
Oh
singing.
my
A
God.
Vic.
Yeah,
Was there
I would
a
pay any
Vic?
price. I would pay any price for Vic
Yes.
Fontaine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vic
Yes.
Fontaine
Do you
with a
see what I
piano and a little
mean?
Vegas playset.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yes.
options. These guys are
Yeah.
opening our creative doors.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Somebody did mention Morn in the live chat, and he
There's
has
one.
the
Lorne.
the glass of what is it? Latinum.
That Latinum or
Latinum.
whatever, right? That he was
Mhm.
hiking.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the liquid latinum.
Yeah.
I would
In his
love
four
a
stomachs.
set of the Niners.
Oh, the
Ooh.
entire team?
So yeah,
That
Yes.
would
like
be awesome.
for special costumes, that would be amazing.
Well, you also
And,
need the
and
Vulcan
special
team.
action bunch
Mhm.
wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, how about this? If they do a Jake Sisko one, which Jake's, I feel like that could be in the Niners uniform.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Something iconic, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or
All right.
Oh my
Jake
gosh.
Sisko, but in 1950s New York
French.
City when he's dressed up in the suit in the zoot suit.
With
Mhm.
a
Oh yeah,
toothpick.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's time to talk about the week
Ooh.
ahead. It's true. Everything has been true
Wow.
so far. Why would we stop being honest now? Yesterday, Yesterday on the Seventh Rule YouTube channel, we released our full review of A Matter of Time. A Matter of Time. You remember that episode? It was a lot of fun. The full review is available on the Seventh Rule right now for your viewing pleasure. Did Sirach love the episode, or did he say, I just didn't get it? I don't know why didn't they just lock this guy up? I don't, come on. And I said, bro, it's max headroom. And he's like, I don't
Mhm.
care if it's minimum headroom. Like, anyway, so then this coming Friday on the Virtual TrekCon YouTube channel, just come right back here at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Maritime. Come
And
right back here
9:30 in
for,
Newfoundland.
yeah, you guys say Newfoundland instead of
No, we say
Newfoundland?
Newfoundland, but on the CBC when they would say it, they would say
Oh,
at
okay.
9:30 in Newfoundland.
That's funny.
Mm.
Okay. What's the other Labrador and what?
Newfoundland and Labrador is like one
Okay.
province. Yeah.
Province. So the point is, come right back here to this channel, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Atlantic Time for Star Trek and Chill. We talk about Star Trek, we chill, we hang out. It's a great time. You're going to love it.
Lucia Raz. She says, no lies Friday.
Yes. Yes, yes,
We-
yes.
Star Trek and Chill is our very serious show, so don't you worry about a thing.
Mhm.
Okay, then on Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, on the Seventh Rule YouTube channel, we are releasing our first segment review of Ooh, the Next Generation episode, season 5 episode, Conundrum. Conundrum. It is the
None.
Seventh Rule's 500th episode.
Wow.
Wow.
No
What a conundrum.
lie. 500th
Oh, hi.
episode with very special guest. He humps 2 chicks in the episode, kind of basically. Jonathan Frakes. Jonathan Frakes joins us to tell us all about
Wow,
it.
he really is 2 takes Frakes.
You chase
Yeah.
Frakes.
Yeah, because we actually asked him to be on the show on episode 30, and he's like, I'll do episode 500. And we're like, oh. So we waited 5.5 years, and here he is. And here he is. This Sunday, it's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely join in and enjoy it with us. And then lastly, next Monday on the Seventh Rule YouTube channel, we've got our full review of New Ground. Remember New Ground?
Yeah,
Jenny does.
I do.
She always does.
I do.
That's it for us. John O, where can people find you and your goodies online?
Hey,
You can-
Jono.
You can find my stuff at
Jenny's drunk.
screenrant.com, Star Trek, Back of the Head, at Back of the Head, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and I promise no more lies.
What? That sucks.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
I know. Maybe some lies.
Especially the lies. What about yourself, Jenny R?
Ooh, where can you find me? It's been a hell of a day. Where am I? I am on the internet. You can find me on the internet. You can find me on my website, jennyrjohnson.com. Hey, guess what? I forgot to put in a newsletter in February, in March, so there'll definitely be one this month. Anyway, you can sign up for that there. You can also check out my prints. Whoa, up until tonight, there definitely won't be any tariffs on that. Who knows what's gonna happen tomorrow? I don't know, but I'll ship them anyway. Next up, you can also find me on social media at Jenny R. Johnson Art. Yeah. Also, I'm here on Tuesdays and Fridays mostly. Yeah. Hanging around, having a nice time. It's great.
Hanging around. Nothing left
Hanging
to do
around.
but frown.
Right? Wait,
That's
what?
the Carpenters, everybody.
Oh,
Beautiful.
did I forget anything? I don't think so.
Drink more
Uh,
Ovaltine.
just more excitement next time, I guess. What about you,
Bring the
the
energy
Matt?
up.
Cool shirt.
Jenny, bring the energy up.
Try
Yeah,
it.
yeah, look at that. On the baseball season, I'm wearing
Yeah.
my Bozeman Phoenixes. Pick those up at the Star Trek and Chill merchandise store for your virtual Trek on gear.
Click the link in the description box below for that online
Ooh.
store. Thanks,
Yeah,
Matt.
these are so awesome. I love to see everybody like embracing these things at the when you go to different conventions and find somebody wearing one. So cool.
Yeah.
I am, man, I keep saying I'm gonna start throwing stuff on YouTube, but I got a new follower the other day. I was like, "Ooh, who's
Nice.
this? How did they find? I got one new follower only. And I'm starting to do a little bit more on the Facebook stuff, trying to participate a little bit more, talking to you about starships, and still, man, I got to get in the habit of getting the Blue Sky. But I'm not doing the Twitter stuff anymore. I feel bad because those were some good times back in the day.
Those were some good times.
Yeah,
Those
man,
were some good times.
exciting. But that's
Join us
that's-
on Trek Sky.
right, exactly. Yeah, heading over to
Hashtag
Oh,
Trek
we
Sky.
should
and then
have
There
that.
was one. There was a Trekster or Trek. There was a Star Trek social media back in the day.
They did try, yeah. It
Hmm.
was like
I
my
joined it.
Starship or whatever.
I think it was Trek Space, like MySpace. I think it might have been Trek Space.
No way.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I joined that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Matt. Did we jump on you? Was that
No,
it?
that's totally
Okay.
fine. I just had one more thing, and that was if you want to see some, I like to think is cool Star Trek art, check out my art station page.
Yep. Matt's awesome. You should check it
Yeah.
out. Speaking of awesome, The Miz is also here, right, John Orchiola?
Miz.
He's awesome. No, Melissa Longo. Where can people find you and your goodies?
Well, at walkingartmadebymelissa.com. La la la. Or oh yes, join my newsletter, please.
Mhm.
Because I'm sending out newsletters now. Woohoo! I did send one out in March,
You
but I'm
did.
gonna send one out maybe one or two in April. And so it's fun. Yes, walkingartmadebymelissa.com. And new stuff is happening for that. New Trek
Ooh.
related and non-Trek related
Wait, hold
things
that up
are
again.
happening.
It kind of looks like Jenny's shirt.
It does
Similar
have some superimposed
colors.
there. Yeah. Look at that.
It
Mhm.
is
Interesting.
functional. You can use it. It is waterproof. Well, it's glass, so it's and I did
Cool.
paint it. Walking Art made by Melissa.
Oh,
Cool.
cool.
So new things are happening with my website. And yeah. And then on social media, Melissa Longo, and on YouTube at Three Fat Lobsters. Do-do-do-do-do-do. And Virtual Trek Con.
Doodly-doo.
Diddle-diddle-doo-doo. And Virtual Trek Con. Falling Tower. Wait. And I don't know why. And the seventh rule. Diddle-diddle-doo-doo.
Doodly-doo. Yeah.
It's going to be on our greatest hits album
Mhm.
coming out later this month, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
greatest hits.
and everybody, you can find me at Ryan TG Husk. Once again, that's at Ryan TG Husk, or just Virtual TrekCon, Falling Tower, or the Seventh Rule on your favorite social media, but especially on Trek Space. It was cool. It was like you could like message thing. Like, it was like a social media off. Somebody in the live chat remembers Trek Space. And then it just died. It just like disappeared or it got, I don't know what happened. It was like
Mhm.
20 years ago. Anyway, that's it for us, everybody. In the live chat, let us know if you remember Trek Space. I think it was Trek Space. Let us know. It was like the Star Trek social media. And basically, it was before like, you know, Facebook was too much around. So it was like, you know, it would be like a post that would say like favorite captains, and people would be like, my favorite captain is, and they would all do this. And then another one would be like, who would win in a fight? Worf or Alexander? You know how
In
people
that
do.
exact voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would win in a fight? Janeway or Seven of Mime?
Good old Seven of Mime. My favorite.
The best line she said was, there it is. I heard she was the worst mime because she was like, I'm in a box, you guys. Can you believe it? Look at this. I'm totally in a box right now. I can't get out of this box. Anyway, sorry, John. All right, that's it for us. Thank you to John Davis, Bob D, Dave Gregory, Joshua Reeve, On B, Chuck A, Lucia Raz. Sorry for the confusion, Lucia. Everything was true except for the Bengals' greatest hits, just for future reference. Allison
Especially the
Leach High.
Bengals' greatest
Hazy
hits.
shade of
There it
winter.
is.
Yes.
Robert
Woo!
Kaiser, thanks for the fun. Terry Rose, Rookie of the Year, Red Shirt. Bob, Linda Anderegg, JT, Savoy, Like Snow, Dangerous Dak, and everybody, Walter. We see all of you, Ben Genium, cool name, Arg Scott. We will see you next time. And when you are thinking about no BS, just cut right through the cheese and give me the real news. Put it on the main viewer.
I like